We are scheduled for good news next, so does anyone have any good news from your congregations or committees or ministry teams? Now's the time. And it would be helpful if you can come forward to the microphone so everyone can hear you.
My name is Pastor Bob Boyer from the United Presbyterian Church in Jamestown, and I just wanted to give you an update on our HERB project that's, by the way, that is our name for what was the DREAM grant that came to us a year ago, a $10,000 DREAM grant. We separated them into $5,000 for anti-human trafficking and $5,000 for immigrants, refugees, and University of Jamestown International Student Ministry and Hospitality. And I wanted to let you know about our HERB tutoring. That's what's going on right now. We have had, last year we started in December and ended in May, and we had 6 students that are families that, these are children from families that do not speak English as their first language, and so they are somewhat, as I say, behind the 8 ball when they come to school and so forth, because they don't have the reinforcement of English in their homes. So we have a tutoring program, and last year we had 6 students. This past Tuesday we had 12, with 8 adults doing the tutoring and the administrative machinations. But it's a really good program. A number of the students now come to Sunday school, which is a good thing. And we were able to work out transportation issues. Because of the HERB grant, we were able to work with our James River Transit to get a discounted rate so that they can be picked up and brought back by the James River Transit. And we also bought 3 children's seats so that when the James River Transit is not available, we are able to safely bring the children home. And I've been very pleased at the response of the adults, not just in our church but in the community. We have people that are not part of our church, but they have a heart for ministry to this people group, and I'm really pleased with that. So it's very good news, and again, we want to thank the Presbytery for the $10,000 DREAM grant.
Any more good news?
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Sweet from the Moorhead Church. We started a community garden this year, thanks to one of our members writing a grant to get a coordinator for 2 years. The community is made up of some members of our congregation, some from the community, some from the Korean congregation that's housed in our church, and some from the Kurdish community. And it was really interesting to see what their favorite vegetable was. Kale is not mine, but we had an extension service worker who made kale smoothies. They were actually pretty good. And the harvest was done weekly, and we got to know each other, and we've had tomato soup and a variety of community meals. We have expanded the garden, called the Grateful Garden, to 3 times its size for next year.
And since Elizabeth is rooming with me and rode up here with me, she's very thankful that I did not bring my bag of kale chips in the car. I actually like them. Any other good news?
Elaine Sweet. I'm one of our Presbyterian pastors serving Lutheran churches currently in Rugby and in Leeds, North Dakota. I wanted to share something that our 7th graders are doing. I meet with a group of 7th graders twice a month, and they're called 7th grade mission experts. We sort of created a program for them. And the idea is that they have the opportunity to learn about some social justice issues, some ways they can put their faith into action. And so we were learning about Lutheran disaster response, which is a parallel program to our Presbyterian disaster assistance, wonderful ministries that our churches share. And so we learned about that in September, and the next week when we met, I said, so how would we like to help? And so they wanted to, because there's a whole bunch of different options. They can do a minute for mission and talk to the congregation and educate them. They can, there's a whole host of ideas. They decided they wanted to raise some money for Lutheran disaster response, and they wanted to organize a fundraiser. And so they talked about a bake sale, they talked about a carnival. They decided in the end they wanted to do a walk or a run. And then they decided it would be a superhero walk and run. And so this Wednesday, we have the first ever superhero walk and run that's happening in Rugby, and the 7th graders are super excited. They've been on the radio promoting it. It's been in the newspaper. We have the schools are all supporting it, and it's been really exciting. We've been partnering with other churches, and there hasn't been a long history of doing great work. The Catholic Church has canceled all of their Wednesday night programming. They're bringing over 30 of their teenagers to run in it, walk in it. It's going to be an extravaganza, crazy superhero costumes, and we're really excited about the chance to make money for hurricane relief, that it was on our kids' hearts, and it was their idea, and as pastor I got to just rein it in and try to help organize it, but it's been really exciting to see these 7th graders take flight. So I wanted to share good news of what our young people are doing, because their faith is pushing them to faithful action.
Just thought I'd get up here and let you know what I look like, because she seems to know me quite well. My name is Gracia Fulweiler. I am from the Fargo First Presbyterian Church. And since neither of my pastors are here, and maybe Michael can help me if I get anything wrong here, Pastor Paul has been working with a group of people at the Presbyterian Church in Fargo to put together what they're calling the pilgrimage. And this, a couple weeks ago, I think about a month ago, he was in North Carolina, and they are doing a satellite pilgrimage program there. He was out there to help them get it going. And this last week, part of the reason why he's not here is because they were in Arizona at the Ghost Ranch doing a retreat down there as a part of this pilgrimage program. Do you know any more than I do about it?
Only that he's going to be gone for 2 weeks. So he's postponed his Sunday school class with the adults, which I've been attending for a couple of weeks, so that's kind of marked it on my calendar.
Okay, it's something that he got started soon after he got in Fargo. And I have to confess, I did sign up, but I haven't been able to participate like a lot of the other people have in it. And those that have been participating seem very enthusiastic about the program, and it's something that we would want to encourage other churches to do if they want. But you'll have to talk to Pastor Paul about that, because I don't know any more than that.
I do know that at least a year ago, when I was at the General Assembly in Portland, I ran into, I think his name is Tom Taylor. He's the head of a Presbyterian Foundation, and he was really enthused. He'd been talking with Paul about this program, and he was really excited about the conversation that they had. I think the hope is that this may be something that can be implicated or implemented in the larger church. As Gracia said, Reverend Paul was in North Carolina helping them with the program, and it's been going on for about as long as he's been in Fargo. And I know that they would like to have this program implemented in a number of congregations throughout the PCUSA.
And they are planning I believe they're planning they went on a pilgrimage to Scotland this last fall, right?
Sometime last year.
He's a lot of help. Anyway, there's only 2 of us. So anyway, it's an exciting thing for our church, and I know it's a really exciting thing for Pastor Paul. So if you want to know more and you'd like to look at trying it, I sure would talk to him about it.
Having met with Pastor Paul, I thought I would share just a little bit too. It's an adult faith formation program, and so it's a curriculum that he's been developing, and that the National Church has been in conversation with him about developing and sharing with other congregations. So it's a very well developed program and curriculum for adult faith formation.
Having given Gracious so much hard time, this is sort of Mike's church and Lori's church and Gracious church and Paul's church and Elizabeth's church and Donna's church and Dixon's church. All of us in the Fargo-Moorhead area, all of the Presbyterian churches there, are members of Churches United for the Homeless, which has a large shelter over in Moorhead. And we have been seeing, Gracia used to be the faith community nurse there. I still want to call you a parish nurse. But anyway, we have stepped out in faith and are building Bright Sky Apartments, which started the first year we had a community garden there called Bright Sky Gardens. And so it seemed reasonable to name the apartments after it, but we're hoping to start receiving tenants the 1st of March and doing supportive housing for people coming out of homelessness to help them stay housed. And I think it's 43 apartments, and about half of them are either 1 bedroom or efficiency, and the other half are up to 4 bedrooms, 2 to 4 bedrooms, so that they can house families there more easily. We were looking for donations of stuff as the people move in, and those of you who know my Hunter congregation know that they like to go for the basics. They want to make sure the basic things are taken care of. So we are donating at least one 4-roll pack of toilet paper to each apartment. But anyway, so we're excited about that. We're trying something new. This may become, someone said build more shelters, but children don't belong in shelters. They belong in houses and homes. So we will be providing apartments that people can stay in until they're ready to move on. So that's our good news from the whole Fargo-Moorhead area. Any more good news? Lana?
Lana Schultz, Westminster Presbyterian Church in Castleton. As PW moderator, I just wanted to share with you that on the table for new info is a PW Mission Funds application. PW has money that it wants to share. We're maybe one of the few groups that has that going for them. And I really encourage you to do that. If you have a group in your church, if you're part of a ministry team, and you have a project that you could use a couple $1,000s for, please, please, please fill that out. The deadline is November 1st, and we're hoping to have too many applications. Thank you.
Any more good news?
Hi, I'm Walt Knight from First Presbyterian Church in Grand Forks. We have all sorts of good news to share with you. About 3 years ago, we were ready to go bankrupt. We have now managed our debt and we're back in business, and we have a new pastor who is a very exciting individual. Spencer has created a whole bunch of new ideas on how to make growth in the church, and in the past year we have already secured 20 new families. From a grant that we got through the presbytery, the committee was formed to make some decisions on what to do with that. And what they did is that they decided it'd be a great idea if we brought the community into the church rather than practically take the church out of the community all the time. And through their efforts, what they did is that they brought in attorneys, doctors, all sorts of individuals from the community, the police department with their drug dog, and opened that up to the public, and it was very successful. And what was interesting about it, as a result of that, 5 of those new families came from that particular production that they put together. So I think what I enjoy about Spencer is he thinks outside the box. He's extremely energetic. I don't want to get in his way if he's got somewhere in the church on a mission. We kind of had to pull the reins in on him a little bit to begin with because he wanted to do about 15 projects all at once, and we didn't have enough manpower for all that. But anyway, we're really happy he's there, and we are going to pay off our last per capita payment this year. We're already owing about 7. That's something I forgot to say much about you when I gave the treasurer's report, but I'll talk a little more about that tomorrow. It's a thing that a lot of our churches are starting to pay some money on now, and hopefully that will continue. Can't think of any other good news, other than we have our debt under management possibilities that we're able to pay it off, and we hope within about 7 to 10 years that will be taken care of. Because boy, we had a lot that we had to deal with. So that's the situation in Grand Forks, and our church is growing, and we're extremely happy about that. Thank you.